You say yes when you mean no. You put everyone else's needs before your own, and you've convinced yourself that's what a good person does. But what if that goodness is slowly destroying you? What if the very act of pleasing others is a silent contract that keeps you from ever being truly happy? This is the invisible prison Carl Jung warned us about, and today we'll break down how to escape it. You know the feeling. The phone rings, and it's a friend asking for a favor, something that will take hours out of your already packed weekend. Before you can even think, the word yes is out of your mouth, followed by a hollow smile. Later, you're filled with a creeping resentment, a quiet anger that bubbles just beneath the surface. You feel exhausted, your own goals and desires pushed to the side, once again. This isn't just about being nice, it's about a deep-seated fear. The fear that if you say no, you'll be rejected, disliked, or seen as selfish. So, you keep performing. You wear a mask of constant agreement and perpetual helpfulness, a role so well rehearsed that you've forgotten who you are underneath. You've become a reflection of what you think others want you to be, and in doing so, you've lost the reflection of your true self. But what if this isn't a virtue at all? What if it's a symptom of a deeper psychological conflict? This is precisely the kind of dilemma that fascinated Carl Jung. He saw these patterns not as character flaws, but as profound signals from the psyche, guiding us toward a truth we've been running from our entire lives. To understand the people pleaser, we must first understand two of Jung's most powerful concepts, the persona and the shadow. The persona is the social mask we wear. It's the public face we present to the world, the image we want others to see. The word persona comes from the Latin word for the mask worn by actors. We all have a persona. It's a necessary part of social living. It allows us to fit in, to function in our jobs, and to navigate social situations. For the people pleaser, however, the persona isn't a flexible mask. It's a suffocating suit of armor. Their persona is built on the foundation of being agreeable, helpful, and never causing a stir. It's the nice person archetype taken to an extreme. This persona isn't just worn, it becomes their identity. They believe this is who they are, and any deviation from this role feels like a betrayal of their very being. The constant need to maintain this image is exhausting, and it leaves them with no room to express genuine feelings, especially negative ones. The shadow is the inverse of the persona. It represents the parts of ourselves we have repressed, rejected, or hidden from public view. These are the aspects of our personality that we consider bad, unacceptable, or shameful. For the people pleaser, the shadow is a vast warehouse of unexpressed emotions and needs. It contains their true feelings, the anger, the resentment, the frustration, and the legitimate desire to prioritize their own well-being. The more the persona grows, the larger and more powerful the shadow becomes. The people pleaser's shadow holds all the no's they were too afraid to say, all the boundaries they were too weak to enforce, and all the selfish desires they believed were wrong. This repressed energy doesn't just disappear, it festers. The people pleaser often experiences this as a vague sense of unease, a gnawing anxiety that something is not right. It can manifest in subtle but destructive ways. Perhaps it's the sudden, uncharacteristic snapping at a loved one over a minor issue, a passive-aggressive remark, or a self-sabotaging behavior that undermines their own happiness. This is the shadow finding a way to leak through the cracks of the polished persona. It's the psyche's desperate attempt to restore balance, to force the conscious mind to confront the truth it's been running from. The internal conflict is immense. The persona demands constant approval, while the shadow yearns for authentic expression. This internal war leaves them feeling perpetually exhausted and disconnected from their core self, never truly at peace. Jung's concept of individuation is the ultimate goal. It's the process of becoming a whole, integrated self, where the conscious ego learns to accept and integrate the unconscious contents of the shadow. It is not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. For the people pleaser, this means a terrifying confrontation with their own shadow. It requires a radical act of self-honesty, acknowledging the parts of yourself you have deemed unacceptable and giving them a voice. It means acknowledging the selfish parts of themselves, the desire to rest, the right to say no, the anger at being taken for granted. The journey of individuation for them is the slow, painful work of peeling back the layers of the persona and listening to the whispers of the shadow. They must learn that their worth is not contingent on their usefulness to others. This process is not about becoming a heartless or selfish person. It is about becoming a conscious one. It's about developing the inner fortitude to stand in your own truth, even when it's uncomfortable. They must learn that their authentic self, which includes both light and shadow, is not only acceptable, but necessary for a fulfilling life. The quote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely," speaks directly to this. It is terrifying because it means letting go of the persona that has served as a shield and facing the raw, imperfect truth of who you are. The path out of the people-pleaser prison isn't a quick fix, it's a profound journey of self-discovery. Here are 3 steps, inspired by Jungian thought, to help you reclaim your power and begin your process of individuation. Step 1. Unmask the persona. The first step is to recognize your people-pleasing persona for what it is, a role, not your identity. Start by paying attention to the moments you say yes when you want to say no. Observe the physical and emotional sensations, the tension in your shoulders, the racing heart, the feeling of dread. Don't judge these feelings, simply acknowledge them. You are not a bad person for feeling this way. You are a person in a role that no longer serves you. Once you can separate the role from the person, you can begin to make conscious choices instead of reacting from a place of fear. Practice this by delaying your response. Instead of an automatic yes, say, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." This small pause creates space for your authentic self to be heard. Step 2. Befriend the shadow. This is the hardest but most crucial step. Your shadow is not an enemy. It's a powerful ally waiting to be integrated. Start by journaling about the resentment you feel. What is it really about? What unmet need or unexpressed desire is it pointing to? Write down the no's you wanted to say. Acknowledge the anger and frustration without acting on it. This is not about becoming a mean or selfish person. It's about giving voice to the parts of you that have been silenced. When a friend asks for a favor and you feel that familiar dread, take a moment to ask yourself, what would my shadow say right now? It might say, "I'm exhausted and need a break," or "I don't have the emotional energy for this right now." Listening to this voice is the first step toward honoring your needs. Step 3. Embrace the whole self. True freedom comes from the integration of the persona and the shadow. This means accepting that you can be kind and have boundaries. You can be helpful and also prioritize your own needs. You are a complex being, not a one-dimensional character. The individuation process is about bringing these conflicting parts of yourself into a conscious dialogue. This is where you learn to say no without guilt. You learn that a true friend will respect your boundaries, and those who don't are not friends at all. You begin to understand that the greatest gift you can give the world is not a perfect, agreeable mask, but the messy, beautiful, and authentic truth of who you are. The fear of being disliked will slowly be replaced by the quiet confidence of self-respect. The journey from people-pleasing to individuation is more than just a psychological exercise. It's a spiritual awakening. It's the realization that your purpose is not to be a supporting character in everyone else's story. Your purpose is to be the protagonist of your own. Every time you set a boundary, every time you honor your own needs, you are not being selfish. You are being an individual. You are stepping into your unique destiny and fulfilling the highest potential of your soul. The constant giving, the unending need for external validation, this is a form of spiritual stagnation. True spiritual growth comes from the inner work of self-acceptance. It is in the courage to face your own darkness that you find your greatest light. The people-pleaser archetype isn't a curse, it's a catalyst. It's the struggle that forces you onto the path of becoming whole. In the end, The greatest act of love you can offer the world is not to please everyone, but to be truly and authentically yourself. This is the ultimate lesson from Carl Jung. It is in the courageous act of self-acceptance that we find not only our own freedom, but the inspiration to help others find theirs. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. What is one boundary you've been afraid to set? Share your story. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the mysteries of the mind and the journey of individuation, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive.